I want to do a short-ish video about my recent trip to Minneapolis. For those of you that don't know, and I probably never really spelled this out before on this channel, I lived in Minneapolis for a long time. I went to college there, stayed for about 8 years, left for a couple years, came back 2 years later, and stayed for another 10 years. And those are I moved there when I was 21, and I moved away when I was 41. I was going to a Wisconsin school that I just frankly did not like, and it wasn't the college experience I wanted. And part of that reason was there was no music in the town. Like nobody played. If anybody played, it was bad cover bands. And I didn't even stick around long enough to turn 21 there. I got out, and soon after I turned 21, I transferred to the University of Minnesota, where I swore that the streets would be purple and the Replacements would be there to greet me or something. Prince and the Replacements are what I thought of when I thought of Minneapolis. Soul Asylum after that. And I was not disappointed. Rock and roll is in that city's blood. And it was incredibly important to me seeing all kinds of bands at First Avenue, 7th Street Entry, 400 Bar, probably forgetting Turf Club later. I can't remember when that came in. Probably a little bit later, Turf Club. The Hole at the Kaufman Union, and plenty of others I'm just not coming up with off the top of my head right now. But really, really great music scene there, always has been. And I tend to go back fairly often. It had been about a year and a half since I was back. But I read Jesperson's book On the Plane. Now, those of you that don't know who Peter Jesperson is, he's best known as a Replacements manager. He essentially got them signed. He signed them to his label and then loved them so much, liked their music, believed in what they're doing, encouraged Paul Westerberg, and basically took them on as a manager. He wasn't a manager, but when they asked him, he was just like, why not? For quite a long time before they, I think, up until around the time that the Tim Tour wrapped up. But excellent book because it's just a total music fan. He's just an incredible music fan first and foremost. Had several jobs, worked in record stores, worked at Orfolk Ajokapus for a long, long time. Also DJ'd at a bar called the Longhorn downtown Minneapolis, which used to book a lot of bands doing their original material when none of the other places did. And he also was just instrumental as a guy that's supportive of music and artists and will do whatever he can to kind of encourage that. So it's just really inspiring that way. Of course, you get the crazy Replacement stories, and you get his tales of kind of working at record labels where the artist's intents and for the sake of art weren't always taken in consideration over commerce. And he just believed in art first all the time. So usually it worked out well for him and well for the bands. He signed at one point Jack Logan, did bulk with him in Mood Elevator. Vic Chestnut was at the top of his list when he started at New West. He's put Vic Chestnut at the very top of his list of the guy that he wanted to sign to the label. Now, if that doesn't show you that this guy is not interested in commercial success over everything else, I don't know what would, because Vic Chestnut is by no means a household name and was never going to be. But boy, is he a special guy. If you have not heard his music, I strongly encourage you guys to. And I'm going to do a video on it at some point on him. But yeah, as far as where to start, probably Vic Chestnut, probably Is the Actor Happy? That seems to be regarded these days as one of his best, if not the best he put out. But always a champion for music. And, because Orfolk was right across the street from CC Club in Minneapolis, that became the de facto kind of bar hangout for a lot of people in the scene, a lot of people in bands. So when I came back to Minneapolis this time, I wanted to go to the CC Club. I hadn't been there in years. It was a place I went in my 20s and maybe my early 30s, and I kind of forgot about it. I got busy with other things, and I guess not like I still didn't go to the bars once in a while. For sure, I did, but it was different bars, different locations. And as I got older, and I've never really been a huge bar guy, I tend to go out to see bands. So yeah, I hadn't been to the CC Club in a long time with my friend John, and I swear it was exactly how it was back in 1997, 1995. That's also the place where Semisonic got their line, "You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here." So it must have been earlier than that when I first started going there, because I remember that line before I ever heard the Semisonic album that came out later. And it was just super obnoxious. Great place, but they would turn on the lights bright as hell. You'd really sober up quickly. You had to when those things came on. And they used to always say that. "You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here." But really liked being there. Something was different, and then we figured out it's probably the smoke, the lack of smoke. Seemed a little bit cleaner, but we couldn't put our finger on it. And it just felt really good to be back there and in good company. I also went to the Electric Fetus. I always go there when I'm back to see my friend Dawn. She's been there forever. We met when I did some promotions for the band Low around The Curtain Hits a Cast. So we realized that we've known each other for 30 years, which is a really long time. And stay with my friend Michael. He's in a band called Sunken Planes. They have 2 songs out you can listen to. And I also met with my friend Joe Fahey, who has several albums as well. Just a really good trip and really inspiring book behind me. Encourage anybody that's interested in music just to check it out. This is a guy that kind of lived our dreams for a lot of us. Got to do the things that a lot of us kind of wished we had done at various times, but it almost killed him. So, keep that in mind. You go down the path of managing a band like The Replacements. Thought I would end this video by reaching into my ticket collection here and doing a memory ticket. Haven't done this for a while. It's basically where I reach in and pull out a ticket and talk about it. I kind of want to do this because I saw so many shows in Minneapolis, and there's a huge ratio of Minneapolis to other areas in this collection. Partly because, yes, I went to so many shows there, but also back then you always got a physical ticket. So I want to pick something out of here and see, I'm doing this blindly, if I can, what I would pick. And I'll talk about it regardless of what it is, but it's a good one. Joe Henry with Mason Jennings, who's a local guy, great singer-songwriter, 1999. I was a huge fan of Joe Henry, and I didn't get into him the way that you might think I did through his work with the Jayhawks. I got into him through his album Trampoline. I heard that, and it was just kind of the song, and I was just kind of blown away by it. And so I always kind of loved that kind of Joe Henry music. And at this time, 99, he had another album out which kind of continued in that thread. Skin and Teeth was a single. Fuse. I think Fuse was what the album was called. And that was great too. A little bit different than Trampoline, but not nearly like the departure he'd do next with Scar, which ended up being much more like into jazz territory, which he's kind of continued ever since with various degrees of, diverse albums still. But yeah, this is a period I really liked. I remember seeing him once with Slim Dunlap, and I think Joe Henry sang all Slim Dunlap material way back when, probably before this. But Mason Jennings is a hell of a talent too. And I remember it being a really good show. It was at the 400 Bar. That was a great place to see shows. Very small. And another piece of trivia is that later on, after this, the guy that used to be the road manager for the Replacements, Bill Sullivan, and his brother owned the place. So that's my little story about Minneapolis. Great music town. Don't go there in the winter. When I was there, it was 13 degrees one day. Definitely understood maybe why I got out of there at some point. But great city. And you could not go wrong sometime visiting there if there's a show you like and you want to go record shopping. And the prices were decent. My God, I got the average price of a used record was $12.99. It made me very, very happy. Have a good weekend, everyone.